Jeremy's looking for something to define his life. It would kill him to see it fail.
Jeremy is all in, 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah, Jeremy's definitely obsessed.
What? Well, I'm 29. I'm almost 30. I'm not gonna have a kid, so this is my kid.
Yeah, this is all I know. But everyone has things that are challenging in their lives, and people try and hide those things.
That's such a hard conversation to have.
We were never a family that talked.
How much of how I am in this relationship has to do with the fact that I know he has an expiry date?
If all of us are affected by illness in some way, then why can't we just talk about it?
What do I say? You're amazing. Kudos.
We're awesome. Welcome to Sickboy, a podcast where we talk about what it's like to be sick. This week's guest is Neil. This week's guest is Carol. This week's guest is Jim. He has PTSD. She has epilepsy. He has leukemia. Let's talk about it. Today is my 29th birthday. It's a big day. It's a big day because I know that I probably shouldn't be alive. Everybody is always like, I'm turning 29. It's so weird, 29. Because I'm like, well, I'm 29. I'm almost 30. Like, it's like it's kind of like winning the lotto.
Oh, man.
How am I not dead yet? How are you not dead yet? Like, we're doing all right. We're not dead. I like the little clatter toes. Yeah.
You should say happy birthday to your parents.
Happy giving birth to me day. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way that you would be turning 29 if it wasn't for the 18 plus years of them enforcing a certain lifestyle and value system on you that you have.
Mm-hmm.
They're incredible people.
He's still sick.
Are you?
My name is Jeremy Saunders. I live with cystic fibrosis, and it's going to kill me. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic fatal disease. The lungs are constantly filled with fluid or mucus, and this mucus causes scarring. And over time, that scarring builds to the point where the lungs stop functioning. When I wake up, first thing I have to do is a nebulizer. That vapor essentially goes into my lungs and breaks up all the mucus. It allows me to breathe. Besides all the different ways that cystic fibrosis affects me, it has also made me infertile. All right, give it one breath in. So we're gonna move through the flow. Exhale, windmill the arms, plant the hands, step back and come down, chaturanga. My parents were essentially told that I wouldn't live to see my 25th birthday. Living with disease sucks. Cystic fibrosis sucks. It's really easy to let the negativity wash over you. So I challenge myself to look at it from this other point of view. Laughing about a disease takes away its power. And I just want everybody else to find that too. Dude, your haircut looks so good.
His hair does look really good.
Dude, how good does that look?
Yeah. Well, now I'm the long hair sick boy.
You see 5 pills? No, you don't.
That's because you put them in your mouth.
Bah, boom!
Hey.
How you doing? Hey, girl. Come on, welcome to
My name's Taylor.
Taylor, Carol.
I'm Brian.
Taylor just recently got his haircut. I'm Jeremy. Nice to meet you.
Carol, look
Yeah.
good.
Check. So Sickboy is a podcast I started with 2 of my best friends, Taylor McGilvery and Brian Stever. We just want to talk about being sick. What's it like to have brain cancer? diabetes, bipolar, and so on and so on and so on.
So when you feel that warning come on, are you like, okay, gotta prepare my seizure bed,
Yeah.
and like lay down on like
Yeah.
create a pillow or something, and
When I woke up, I was half out of the elevator and half in the elevator, like more in the elevator than out. And like the rubber on the elevator door was like hitting me. And, like,
my
went face down. So my nose, like my teeth, like, and, like literally. Like,
I'm just imagining the door going.
yes.
Boom,
ding,
boom.
ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think that for sure everyone is dealing with something in the sense that if they themselves don't have an illness or a disease, then they know somebody very close to them who does.
I think the common thread through everything is that everyone's got their own story. And what we're trying to do is not speak to the illness. We're not trying to talk about what is the illness that you have. We want to know about the individual's experience with that illness.
Sickboy all began at the Halifax Central Library, and it started really as a joke. It was a free pass for two healthy people to ask all the questions that they would ever want to ask a sick person.
This might be the worst thing that I could possibly say in this moment.
Please
but
say it.
would you say that CF is the equivalent of like YOLO?
Oh my God.
No,
Silly
but
kids do
what I mean is,
Bro,
you said that you
bro. It's so yellow.
you know, you only live once. I've got CF.
Well, that-
Let's
Absolutely. As dumb as you phrase that question, you are absolutely right. When your friends don't
Don't
want to
listen
go
to
out
Jeremy.
and like have a good time, you know, you're feeling like you want to go have a few drinks, definitely pull out the guys. I have CF and I'm gonna die soon, and you're saying no.
It does speak to how comfortable a couple of friends can be with each other
exactly.
to like throw that out there, and me to know that you're joking.
But not really. Like I am joking, but not fully.
The first episode with Jeremy was pretty well received.
We went from having nobody knowing what our website was to well over 10,000 people viewing the website in less than 24 hours.
It was like, whoa, these people think that this is cool? Okay, let's work harder at it. It was a joke.
Take one.
We went and used free equipment at the local library.
We knew that the only way we were going to be able to release weekly episodes, we were going to have to fundraise to be able to buy our own recording equipment.
During our Kickstarter campaign, one of our rewards was that if somebody donated $1,000, then Jeremy would get the logo of Sickboy tattooed on his ass. That was our surprise. And tonight, Jeremy's gonna get the tattoo.
We knew Brian's mom had an empty room in her basement, so we took all of our brand new gear and we moved it over there. Check, check, check.
If it gets into your bone or into your bloodstream, like your marrow, you're basically either you're gonna lose a limb or you will die.
I absolutely do not consider my borderline personality disorder a weakness or a personal failure at all. I think the fact that stigma is a social construct, I think that means, though, it can be dismantled through conversation.
Yeah.
It can be dismantled through these kinds of activities.
Yeah, that's
These three guys, they aim to rip that lid off those awkward conversations.
Most people who are sick have responded and have been really thankful that there's a discussion going on that's not super sugar-coated.
I woke up at 5 in the morning, had to go to the washroom. My pee was a Coca-Cola color.
Oh, what?
I shrieked.
I knew you were gonna fill in the blank with the color, and you said the grossest thing that I could have ever imagined.
We've started this interesting little club of sick people. I feel like I have a lot to offer, to teach people about the benefits of just being transparent. And there's like no time to waste. I know the end is coming. I know it's like it's right around the corner. So I'm like steamrolling, like, okay, I gotta get this done, gotta do this, gotta do this. I kind of actually get off on the idea that like, okay, sweet, like, I can just let go. And
do you want to die?
I'm curious to know, like I don't want to say that because I don't want it to sound like I'm about to go jump off the bridge.
You don't get to try it.
No, I know,
So-
but I'm not. I don't want to die, but I am.
What are you curious to know about?
Not that wasn't the right way to put it. I'm not curious about it. I'm content with dying. I'm okay with it. So it's 8:41, and my sister had a baby, and she named him Hudson Jeremy McEwen. So he's kind of named after me. So I'm gonna go. Oh man, I'm a mess. I'm gonna go hold him for the first time.
Well, she hadn't felt anything since, but she had
I want to hit critical. I want to hit critical mass, and I want it to be an epidemic. I want the CDC to warn everybody. Sickboy is coming.
We are doing a great thing on a small scale right now, but how do we grow outside of that bubble?
Yeah.
How do
You
we
guys need to be taking risks to like keep pushing things forward, I think.
If I was like, I'm quitting teaching yoga, and I'm gonna put all of my time into Sickboy, and I said to Bridie, like, yo, I'm quitting teaching to like do this, and we're not gonna make any money on my end until it gets to a point, she would literally go, okay, then I'm leaving you.
Do you think she would actually say?
Well, so I brought it up to her the other day, and I was like, listen. Her response was, well, you can do that, but
What if you gave up?
you need to give up your car. No more like this, no more that. Like, what are you willing to give up? Like, I'm not gonna have a kid. That's not gonna be my legacy, right? I'm not gonna leave a human. So this is my kid, you know. Like, this is me going like, well, this is what I want to like give to the world to contribute.
I do worry about his health in the way that cystic fibrosis can take really drastic turns really quickly. Even if everything stays as it is with his health, he is inevitably, his lungs are decreasing in function.
Here's my meds.
It scares me when I think about it.
Oh, good. This is all the stuff that keeps me alive. This will be gone in 100 days.
He's trying the best that he can to give everything to Sickboy. It's like if there's ever an opportunity in his life to create something that he is beyond proud to say that he created, this is it.
I'll just eyeball it. Smells like eggnog.
Oh, no. You gotta get some. Move this bow. You gotta get some air in it. There, that's a little better.
Got it.
We got married when I was 27 and Jeremy would have been 23. I thought I was going to marry the person I was with before and would have. And Jeremy came along and then I did it with him instead.
I promise to use our combined love to cause positive change in the world and in the lives of others. When I asked Bridie to marry me, we both knew what would come with that if she answered yes, which she did.
Now pronounce you husband and wife.
So it's funny, I record this podcast and I talk openly about my disease with strangers. But one person that I don't really go in depth and talk about my disease with is my wife. We haven't really talked about it.
No. Only within the context of a joke.
It wasn't my goal until after I started the podcast, but I started to realize, like, oh, this is a good way to, like, make sure everybody's fully prepared for my death to come. If I just keep talking about it and being like, yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's going to happen. You're probably all going to outlive me. It just becomes this, like, I don't know, not a big deal. Big B.
He's just living his life.
He's like me. Just doesn't, no regard for other people. Talking about my death, Big B. Stop cleaning yourself.
He's like, I'm out of
You
here
selfish
for
dog.
all y'all, so.
Yeah, I wonder if Big B will outlive me.
He won't. Come on. It's very confusing. It's sometimes. How much of how I am in this relationship has to do with the fact that, like, I know he has an expiry date. Jeremy is all in with the podcast, night and day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. He forgets to make time to prepare his own food and to walk the dog and to teach yoga, which is his, like, income.
Sit. Bigby. Good boy.
Right now, and the choices that we're both making in our life have impact on both of our futures. And even though mine may be longer than yours, I still need support for my dreams and my future, even though you might not be a part of them.
Sometimes I feel like I'm being really unreasonable and a total dick with Bridie because of how much I want to give to this project. But I think she gets it. Like, I think she's on board too. I hope she is. Because if she wasn't, As of today, the podcast started about a year ago. And I had always hoped that we would have an effect on our guests, but I never realized how much the guests would have an impact on me. In particular, there's one guest that we had on, and his name is Leighton. And Leighton is dying of terminal cancer. So Leighton.
Hi.
Why don't you tell us why you're here?
Because Brian asked me.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've got a couple brain tumors.
A couple.
I think they said there was 2 small ones and 2 not so small ones. I'm just gonna go day to day, and everything's gonna be cool until it's not cool. Yeah, that's the case.
He is a young father, and he has a wife. Watching him go through his process and the pictures that he's taking and, like, the outlook that he has, I can only imagine that that makes it infinitely more tolerable for his wife. I'm very curious about your relationship with Candace and how this has affected that relationship.
Yeah, because we talked about if we would have known what was gonna happen, would we do the same thing? She's like, yeah, of course, obviously. And it's a lot easier for her to deal with it because she has this, like, token, you know? And he's half of me. So I'm living on through him, and it makes it a lot easier. Honestly, I'm good where I'm at, yeah. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm really just now starting to learn that the people in your life, when you're going through something so hard and so challenging, they're being affected just as much as you are.
Come on, Jeremy, big hit, Jeremy. Keep an eye on the ball. Go for it, better! Run, Jeremy! Run, Jeremy! Good hit, Jeremy, good hit. Ah, better, big hit, better! He was always a good baseball player. He played it for a couple of years and then decided to go soccer, was it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's have a look.
Lots of stuff.
There's a little bit of everything in here. Back in June 2006.
Yeah, I did some singing back
Done some
in
singing,
May.
valedictorian.
Did the valedictorian speech. You won the school's pageant for boys. I can't think about Jeremy dying every day when I wake up. I got to think about Jeremy living, and that's the way it was right from the beginning.
I recall being told that, you know, he may not live to see his 19th birthday. Chances of him going into a university are probably slim and none.
Pass him up!
What camp?
Pass him up!
What?
I don't know where we camp. There's a cop here!
It's a beaver camp.
Yeah,
Down on
a
Lake,
beaver camp!
Lake George.
Yeah, Lake George.
Yeah. Jeremy, stay on that. Don't turn that off yet.
Jeremy, stay on that.
I think for us, we couldn't think there. We just wanted to stay in now and keep him. Maybe there's a way that won't happen.
I was quite big on the camera.
This is our first camping trip.
Bye, John.
I just wanted to try to capture his life as best I could for as long as I could. And Jeremy, as a kid, you know, he was the clown. He wanted to be in front of the camera all the time. He'd make the funny faces. He had no problem pumping up his muscles. You know, he was doing it all.
I'll show you that.
You better put out your bird.
I don't have it. I don't have it on there. Get the fingers off the camera, please. The doctors tell us that, you know, if your lungs fail, then you're going to fail. Show Poppy how he does push-ups. So we felt, well, we won't let his lungs fail. If exercise got anything to do with it, we'll just push him as hard as we can push him. 110% is what he had to give. Good boy. He kept up with the normal kids, and that was the whole focus here is, you know, like, don't let the CF be something that's going to drag you down. Man, he loved that canoe. $3,000 canoe from his shopping spree right from Poland. Hello! Hey, Big B! Jeremy!
For some crazy reason, which I'll probably never understand, my parents chose to not tell me that cystic fibrosis was a fatal disease. So for the first 10 years or so of my life, I had no idea. I came across a pamphlet or something that you took back from clinic. It said CF is a fatal genetic disease, and then that followed up with cystic fibrosis. The average life expectancy of someone with cystic fibrosis is 30 years of age. And I think I just put it down, was like, ugh,
Did you
and walked away. No, I never talked about it. Never talked about it. We were never a family that talked.
I struggled with trying to accept the fact that he lived with CF for all those years.
If we can't put our heads around it, how are we going to, you know, help a child put their head around it?
I don't think I knew how to handle that situation, and so what I did was I just buried it until I was about 16 years old. I wrote it down in an autobiography I was doing for school.
When it comes to thinking about my future and what I want to do with my life, when it comes to getting married and having kids, I don't really know what to think. I don't mind talking about my CF and explaining what it is, but when I sit and think about the things like, what's the point of having kids? And who would want to marry someone who they know isn't going to live? This is tough. Those are the kinds of things that are hard to think about, and it makes me feel kind of useless.
It wasn't until my early 20s that I actually was able to forgive them and actually acknowledge the fact that I was a total asshole to them because of it.
I feel like now, if I ever had to tell Hudson, like, you know, you might not live past 20 or 30, like, I would never be able to tell him that. That's such a hard conversation to have.
Right. And I feel like if it was just normalized right from the beginning, we're all going to do this thing which is called die, and every one of us is going to do it.
Right.
And I think that because we never talked about it, Sickboy, like this whole thing that like me and Brian Taylor created, I honestly don't think it would exist.
Yeah.
Because I think that experience played a major role in me being like, all right, let's start a community that we like over the top talk about everything. I have what we're releasing all the way up from what we've recorded already in a schedule.
We should come up with a stronger episode next week.
Yeah, maybe following that we'll do Connor. I think it's so much easier for people to come in and talk to us here because we've cultivated this space. They know they're coming on Sickboy. I get that it's easy for me to sit here and say everyone should be an open book because I do recognize that it is difficult. I know that Brian's mom was recently diagnosed with cancer, and in all honesty, Brian hasn't even spoken to us about it at all yet.
My mom probably knew where she was in her diagnosis, but I was still kind of left in the dark, which is really weird because we've been doing this podcast for the last year and a half and talking to complete strangers about what they've been dealing with. And we've talked about really difficult issues like living with cancer. I guess I just really don't know how I feel about addressing it.
Reaching that far out?
When you're really forced to consider the things that will change your life forever, then it's something that can be really scary. Did you see that email that said that somebody thought that the Little Person episode was the best episode we've ever done?
Yeah, I did.
I wonder how many episodes that person listened to.
Only that one.
Yeah. This is
Best one yet.
So what's up with your mom?
So I mentioned to you that they were testing to see if it was in her lymph nodes, and she didn't tell me about that. So
She didn't tell you that they were testing for it?
no. I'm kind of the mindset of like I could either bring it up to her and say, hey, I think you should be more open talking to me about this, or I could just say, okay, you feel that you want to protect me by not addressing this and dealing with it on your own. It shouldn't be something that's difficult. I guess like the whole buildup of it is the thing that's kind of like
Bring
weird
it up.
about
It's
it.
going. It's going. Hey, like that's the tough part. Going.
Yeah.
Hey, can I talk to you?
We're sitting here and we're talking about how your mom hasn't come to you and hasn't talked to you about X, Y, and Z, but also in the exact same breath, you haven't you haven't like called your mom out on it.
This is like the real life example of pretty much what we talk about on the podcast, and it's so much easier offering advice than even taking the own advice that you offer. A lot of the conversations that we've had about your cancer have been really about like the physical procedure of it, but we haven't had any talks about the emotional challenge of dealing with it. So how have you felt?
Sad, sometimes, afraid. I think that if you know I'm afraid or I'm sad or I'm scared, then you will feel that as well. And I don't want you to feel that.
But do you think it's okay to be sad and afraid and scared of that? Because it's the reality is
Yeah.
that it's an awful thing.
Mm.
If we would have had this conversation before and you said, hey, look, like there's gonna be some stuff that I go through and I just don't want you to see me dealing with that, but I have other people who are gonna be there and support me, then I just would have thought nothing of it and would have stayed away. But the other thing is that I just really wanted you to know that I'm here if you need me, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I love you.
I love you too. And we can hug.
This thing, I like this feeling here.
Yeah.
Like I'm breathing like a fucking grandfather.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't.
Thinking about Jeremy dying, if I really go there, I can feel, oh yeah, I do have an emotional reaction to that. Sometimes I worry that I won't, or that I'm overthinking it so as to like numb myself to the idea of it. But I know that the day will come.
How did you guys find out?
Dude, I read the Facebook post.
From his Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone.
His wife posted and he wrote it. It's written.
He wrote it?
Yeah.
Leighton died with such like grace, literally being like an inspiration for so many people. But it's like the feeling of his like the people that are gonna miss him. You know, like I'm always like, yeah, I'm not afraid to die. Like, bring it on. Like, I hope I don't live past 40. And I'm like driving over here, thinking about Candace and Finn, and I have this like overwhelming sense of like, man, I don't want to die. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to Bridie, or you guys, or my parents. You know? With Leighton passing away, finding out that our past guest, a friend of mine, Matt, his cancer came back, and I've just been feeling really stressed out. And this is something that I think, just due to the nature of what we're doing, we're gonna have to deal with a lot more. We have like a list of over 300 applicants, people all over the States, all over Canada. Anxiety, depression, OCD, chronic fatigue, heart disease, genital herpes, MS. It's crazy. It's like everything you can think of, we've had someone. And like what totally sort of kills me is that like, I know that there's no way we'll get all of these people on the show. Like how did I get here? How did I get to this point? Compared to like a year and a half ago when I was like glued to the couch playing video games. What? You know? We start this podcast off as a joke. And the next thing we know, we're getting an email from a listener who believes in what we're doing so much that he wants to fly the three of us to Toronto so we can break into a new community and put a dent into the list of 300 people who want to apply to be on the show.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We are live in Toronto.
According to some of my gentleman friends, my odd-shaped mouth is like quite a fun and rewarding experience.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite starts. This is great.
Yeah, this is all I know. But everyone has things that are challenging in their lives, and people try and hide those things. But it makes us all different. We're all different in this whole room. Embrace those things and let them sparkle.
We definitely forget, we're connected more than we understand. And the world would be a lot better off if we just tried to listen to other people's stories and what people are going through, even if it doesn't make sense to you. I think what you guys are doing is giving it that platform. So, thank you. Proud of you guys. Killing it.
Bri, should we record? I don't want to.
It's a lot to handle in 1 week.
I know, man.
I know.
It's just really unexpected, I guess death always really is unexpected. And I'm glad we canceled our last 2 interviews just to take time to process that information. And seeing that hurt, or being on the receiving end of that hurt in a very small way, is something that I'm yeah. Hey, big buddy. Hey, big pal. I think this attitude with being super content with the idea of dying, it's a bit of a selfish attitude. I gotta try and be a little bit more conscious and attentive of the people that I love while I'm here.
This conversation's been a long time in the making. We've been talking about doing having this conversation for
probably since the very beginning.
Woo!
My wife is on the show.
Hi there.
I like.
Hi, babe. Hey, guys. Hey, I'm right here.
Hey.
Jesus.
You know that he has CF before you guys even get intimate or have any type of relationship. What is it like when you start to fall in love with somebody who has a disease that limits their life expectancy?
Well, the thing is that I've lost people that I loved before. And so I feel like grief is a price of loving someone.
That's so perfect. It's the price you pay when you take on another.
So don't ever love anyone.
Yeah, that's
it's not worth it.
You have
it's not worth it.
I started to feel this thing that I only recently identified, which is that I really love this person. I think he's a life changer. So the podcast, even though we've had some balance issues in our life since it started, never for a second have I been resentful. I'm just really happy for him. If you are going to love really fully, then it has to come with that knowing that it could be taken away at any time.
I don't know how the hell I managed to find someone like her. She's still choosing to stand beside me and support me in any way that she can. And I thank her for that.
I support Sickboy 100%. I had no idea it would be as successful as it is. I had no idea it would mean anything to people the way that it has.
Most people just don't know how to sit and talk to someone. Your podcast is teaching me how to have those conversations with patients.
And it was in one of those last flare-ups that I found the Sickboy podcast and realized that I'm not alone, and it gives me the strength to keep on going.
I'm more comfortable now with one leg than I ever was with two. And I feel like I owe that to Sickboy.
What do I say? You're amazing. Kiddos. Good job, fellas.
I discovered your podcast just after I'd got out of the hospital, and I'd been made homeless due to a domestic violence issue, and it was the lowest point in my life. And listening to you guys have a laugh as well brought a smile to my face when I really didn't know how I was going to smile again. So I feel like Sickboy podcast has opened up my world to being truthful to others and also honest to myself.
We're awesome.
I feel like every time somebody says that we've taught them something, it's like it's like
whoa,
a total
what the
mind-blowing.
God. Dude, like... The thing about living with a terminal disease is that, you know, if you do choose to own it and you start to live your life ambitiously, it's this sigh of relief. Like, we can just be open and talk about all of the stuff that we jam down so deep. And until that expiry date comes, I'm not gonna stop. Not until we make more people realize that laughing at a disease takes away its power. And if you really sit and actually think about that, it can have some pretty profound effects on the way you live your life.